if you're like me, then your Instagram feed is always full of delicious food photos and different people sharing different recipes. One thing in particular I've always been interested in is these healthier recipes, these healthy foodie people who create their own recipes. Many times these people create recipes with very simple ingredients, and I've always been curious to see if they actually taste good. So I have no diet limitations, I have no preferences, I'm not vegan, I'm not trying to eat healthy or anything, but like I said, I really want to give these recipes a go and see how they compare to what you expect from different cookies. So today I've picked 3 different healthier cookies from 3 different, I don't know the right term, but they're people who aren't just Instagrammers, but I don't want to call them influencers. That's kind of, people don't like that word, but they're people who are well known, they have their own little creative space on Instagram and other platforms, and are sharing their healthy recipes that they've come up with, basically. So who they are. And some of you may know them, some of them have more followers than not, but all of them have a really awesome following. Now, what does a healthy cookie even mean? I think it kind of depends on you as a person and what you consider healthy, what you're trying to do with your own body. So it's kind of subjective. Basically, it could mean, in my mind, a few different things. It could mean fewer ingredients, you know, just using very simple ingredients, less sugar, using things that are naturally sweet. It could be low carb, it could even be low calorie. And all these Instagrammers tend to do, you know, simple recipes with not many ingredients. They're trying to use things that are naturally sweet. So that's kind of what I mean by healthy. No, it's not the typical things you would find in a cookie recipe or other baked good recipes. They're unique in that they have less ingredients, like I said. There's a few things I want to get out of trying these recipes. I want to see if these recipes even work. I've never really dealt with just using these types of ingredients, so I want to see how they compare to baking and using the typical ingredients that you use, right? And I also want to see, do they compare to a typical cookie? And if they don't compare to a cookie, are they good just by themselves as like a healthier dessert or whatever? And the third thing is, would I make these recipes again? Let's get into the recipes that I'm going to try today. The first one is almond butter chocolate coated cookies by Cooking by Kylie. The second recipe are chocolate peanut butter cookies from Lexi Lives Well. And the last one is healthy flourless breakfast cookies from TheBigMansWorld. Okay guys, so those are the recipes and let's go give them a try. Okay, so we'll need peanut butter, almond flour, honey, baking powder, and an egg. Hey, get back here, what are you doing? And then some chocolate, and then some cinnamon. Okay, so the first thing Lexi has us do is melt the dark chocolate and pour that in with the peanut butter, and then add in the honey, which I kind of struggle to do. It's very hard to get honey out of the container, but I definitely need to work on my muscle strength here. Here's that all mixed up. It actually tasted really good at this stage. You can go ahead and dump in the almond flour and cinnamon and mix that really well. Here's just a close-up of the texture of the dough, and just stick that in the fridge for 30 minutes. Okay, take it out of the fridge when it's done and go ahead and add in 1 egg. Okay. And then go ahead and add in your baking powder. And as you can see, the dough was really hard after being in there, so I ended up letting it just sit a bit for a while, and then I was able to stir it. Okay, so it was kind of weird to put the egg in after the dough was like kind of already formed, but I ended up getting it to a pretty good consistency, as you can see here. Next, you just need to oil your hands so you're able to roll the sticky dough into little balls and place them on a parchment-lined baking sheet, or as I have here, a silicone mat. Then you're just going to press them down with your palm to flatten them a bit and put them in the oven at 350 degrees for 7 to 9 minutes. And here are the finished cookies. The bottoms were nice and crisp, so you could tell that they were done, and the last step is just to add a smear of peanut butter on top. For this recipe, you'll need applesauce, maple syrup, almond flour, baking powder, and vanilla. Basically, you just threw all of the ingredients in a bowl and then mixed it well, so this one was really simple. Here's just another close-up of the dough so you can go ahead and see what it looks like. Go ahead and prepare another baking sheet and then roll these out into little balls. At the end, you can go ahead and give them a little flatten as well, and then pop them in the oven for 10 to 12 minutes at 350 degrees. Okay, so ta-da, here they are, and the next thing you need to do is let them cool completely and then add a layer of almond butter. Yum. After the almond butter was set as best it could, I added on a layer of chocolate. And here is the finished look. The last recipe, all you need is almond flour, 3 ripe bananas, and peanut butter, and a sprinkle of chocolate chips if you want. Quick side note, I actually ended up subbing in almond butter for peanut butter. The recipe said you could use any nut butter, peanut butter that you wanted. Again, this recipe was fairly straightforward. Basically, you just dumped everything into a bowl and mixed it together well. Okay, so go ahead and roll these into balls again and press them down into a cookie shape, and then bake them for 10 to 12 minutes at 350 degrees. These cookies to rest for 10 minutes on the baking sheet before removing. Okay, the moment of truth. I have all the cookies behind me. I have my 3 cookies picked out. Let's give these bad boys a try. This one is the one with the almond and the chocolate on top. I'm very curious to see. This one looks kind of the most doughy out of them all. Let's give it a go. I feel like I have never had anything like this before. So yes, it has a nice crusty bottom and a nice doughy interior. So if you don't like doughy cookies, you probably wouldn't like this. This does not seem like a cookie I've ever had, but for like a healthy treat, it's not bad. I could see myself eating this as more of like a snack or something. I really don't know what to think about this one. It's very interesting. It's something that I feel like I'd have to keep eating to get kind of used to the taste to. And I don't mean that necessarily in a bad way, but it's just very unique and not something that I'm used to eating. So let's give another one a try and maybe think about this one a little more. Gotta cleanse the palate. Let's give the chocolate, no, let's do the banana one next. This one should be interesting. This one is very moist and thick. This cookie is pretty good. It definitely feels like something that I would make for like a healthy snack after running or working out. It would be great to just have one of these because they're big and hearty. To me, it feels more like a snack type thing than a cookie. I do like that it was baked because I've seen like the no bake like banana snacks before, and to me that kind of like grosses me out. So I liked that this was baked. It's not that crunchy or anything. I mean, it basically just tastes like oats and banana, which what else would it taste like? This would actually probably be really good with like a smear of peanut butter on it or something. So I think this is not bad. Okay, the last one, the chocolate peanut butter one, the one I'm most excited for. This one smelled really good while it was baking. It smelled like a real cookie, while these other ones didn't really have that like cookie aroma. Okay, these cookies are very thick, like you need a nice glass of milk or something with them. I'm surprised because this is the one that I was least sure about when I was making them, just because it was kind of weird like refrigerating the dough and then putting that egg in. But this one to me tastes most like a cookie and looks most like a cookie, and I think I would not add in the cinnamon. I'm pretty sure there's cinnamon in this one, or add in less. If you love cinnamon, then that's great, but I think you could go without the cinnamon. Honestly, I think I would consider making this one again. I think that this one was my favorite one overall. It definitely reminds me the most of a cookie, of a typical cookie, and I think it could pass as one, versus these other ones are definitely not what you would consider a typical cookie. But the other two I might make again. This one was super easy to make, and I always have leftover bananas, so I could see myself making something like this if I'm sick of making banana bread or something, and I think it would be a great workout snack, something to bring with you. First one, it's just very weird. I want to keep eating them and seeing if I get adjusted, because I get the almond flour in there, which I don't know if I totally love almond flour. If you're used to eating almond flour, it's probably not that big a deal, but for me, I don't really ever consume almond flour, so it's a little funky. That was an interesting experiment. None of these cookies took very long to make. That's the good thing about them. They're pretty easy to make, don't need a lot of ingredients, and they do seem relatively healthy. I don't feel that bad about eating them because there's less ingredients. A lot of the ingredients were more healthy. You're not adding in like a ton of sugar or anything. So that's definitely a plus to eating these, which is what they're kind of meant for anyway. So like I said in the beginning, I was curious if you could even really make these recipes. I've never used these types of ingredients, but I didn't really have any trouble with anything. You know, it all came together overall pretty well, and none of them like stuck to the pan or got mushy or weird. So the recipes themselves, you know, were simple to follow and actually worked. So that was true of all of these. Okay, so that was really fun, and I just want to thank you guys for watching. Feel free to subscribe if you like this video. Feel free to check out my other videos, you know, maybe one of them catches your eye, I don't know. Okay, so I hope you guys have an awesome day, and see you later.